Hello, and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. Today's podcast is number 1533. The topic is nutrition, and the title is When to Relax and When to Push. This is in reference, we're going to kind of talk structured around the holidays and special events. Too often, people kind of make a big deal out of eating poorly or eating differently over the holidays. And when we look at the bigger picture of things, it really isn't significant. And people beat the living crap out of themselves. And they have so much mental and emotional stress, but yet they shouldn't because it's not really that significant. So if we look at the numbers of days, let's say that we look at the holidays in regards to, say, November and December. And the reason why I picked that is typically people, they'll eat, candy or something on Halloween, if they celebrate Halloween, wherever they live. And then, like, for the next month, like through November, there's plans for Thanksgiving, here in America. Plans for Thanksgiving, and that leads up to, like, maybe you're traveling for family, doing this thing, doing that thing. But November kind of seems to be a little bit of a missed month. And then from Thanksgiving to Christmas through December, it seems to be just trashed. No, like, people feel like they can't make any progress whatsoever through then. And then all of a sudden, come New Year's, January 1st, everybody's ready to start their New Year's resolutions and make these huge strides of progress. But if we look at November and December, in total, it's 61 days. So there's 30 days in November, 31 days in December. 61 days. If we think about Thanksgiving weekend, so Thanksgiving is on the fourth Thursday of every November. So there's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that people are probably going to be off schedule, visiting family, eating weird things. That's 4 days. Then there's really nothing that's actually out of the ordinary normally until we get to Christmas. You have like Christmas Eve. So my wife and I jokingly, we call it Christmas Adam because Christmas Eve is, the day before that is Christmas Adam. Maybe that's only us. But so we found that funny. So there's Christmas Eve, and then there's Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day. So those are kind of days where people are traveling, visiting family, eating crazy things. So that's like 3 days. Then you have New Year's. So you have New Year's Eve, and then kind of like New Year's Day as like a recovery day. So there's 2 days. So in total, if we look at it, we have roughly around 4 days around Thanksgiving, 3 days around Christmas, and 2 to 3 days around New Year's. So through like the holidays, through the 61 days of November and December, there's roughly about 9 to 10 days that you're going to be off schedule. That is actually only about like 15% of the days. There's still 85% of the days through November and December that are still manageable without a ton of stress and self-hate. It's our normal schedule, normal food availability if we choose to prepare our foods and buy our foods and have it already, but it's stuff that's typically within our control. So there's still 85% of the days that can be very good and accurate. If we went through a whole year with 85% adherence, that would actually be pretty freaking amazing. But that means you could actually mess up 55 days throughout the whole year, which would be incredibly awesome if you only did that. And that's plenty enough to get progress. One of the fallacies that people think of when it comes to nutrition is they think they have to be 100% correct to get progress. No, God no. No one is perfect. There's never been a successful person that was perfect every single step of the way. Now, they might think they were, and some odds and ends here and there, but even the people I help get like professional, like pro cards and drug tested and non-tested aesthetic competitions, and they're like some of the most nutrient focused people, and they have to have everything as perfect as possible. They can still make mistakes and get pro cards. You don't have to be 100%. You just have to be better than you were before, and then that makes progress. So if you were only accurate like 25% of the time, even if you're only accurate a third now, that's still better than you were before. You would still see actually progress from before. So 85% adherence would be amazing. That would be awesome. That's like if you ate well 5 to 6 days a week. So some weeks you got 6 out of 7, some weeks you got 5 out of 7 right. But that's amazing. That would be awesome. That's plenty enough to make great progress. So too often we beat ourselves up on holidays and special events for not eating well. But those moments make up such a little part of the big picture that we're putting the emphasis on the wrong days. So that's where we come to the title of when to relax and when to push. Relax on holidays. Relax on special occasions. Now, I'm not saying relax as in like eat everything in the room. No. But loosen up. Loosen up a little bit. And then that can be motivation to push harder on your normal days. The days that don't have a break from normal schedule or normal food availability. Now, I made a podcast before titled, It's Not the Creamer in Your Coffee. And what I did that for was because people were, like I actually had somebody come to me and they just thought they were overweight because they were putting too much creamer in their coffee. And I'm like, oh, for the love of God, it's like 15 calories. That is not your problem. And people misplace their focus. They think it's these small little nuanced things when actually they're making large, inconsistent behavioral problems. That's kind of the big thing is they're just inconsistent over time. And that misplaced focus is similar to what we do around the holidays. We tend to say, oh my gosh, if I eat poorly on Christmas Eve or I'm going over to family for dinner, Christmas, I'm just going to mess up my diet, I'm going to overeat, and then I'm just going to feel like crap and tell myself I'm a mentally weak, horrible human being. And it's like, oh my gosh, stop doing that. We beat ourselves up so much over things that are so small. And they're not where we should actually have our focus. We should be focusing on the normal days. Try to be consistent as you can through the normal days. And then if you take a break or relax a little bit on holidays and special events, it's not a problem. You don't need to be 100% accurate in your nutrition to make progress. 85% accuracy is actually really awesome, and most people don't even get that. So most people, if they can just eat 4 to 5 good days out of 7 days a week, they're going to see some progress and actually live a pretty healthy lifestyle. If they can get 5 or more days right a week, then they're usually doing really well, making great progress, super happy. You don't have to be 7 out of 7. You don't have to be 100%. That's not required for you to actually make progress. So what we can do is a couple things. Number one is just keep everything in perspective. One day doesn't make or break you. It doesn't make or break your diet. It doesn't make or break you as a person. There's a little bit of a life lesson there. We all have made one or more mistakes in the way we spoke to somebody, in the way we handle a certain situation. Things outside of nutrition, just in regular life. We screw things up. But one action, one day, doesn't define who you are as a person. Now, I have kept a lot of those life lessons as motivation for me to never do them again. So I've forgiven myself for those moments, but I've not forgotten them. Because to me, if I remember them, it's motivation to push myself and be better in the future. But I'm not remembering them and beating myself up. I forgave myself for those mistakes. And that's what we need to do with nutrition, is to realize that one day doesn't make or break your progress. Even 2 days, even 3 days, even 10 days throughout the holidays doesn't make or break your progress. You can still make progress. The other thing we can do is to always remember what matters most. Whether you have, the sweet potato casserole or the green bean casserole, doesn't matter. If you're having, like, say, fatty meat, maybe you're eating a steak, and you're like, oh, man, this is too much fat, blah, blah, blah. No, don't worry about that. What really matters, and we talk about this in podcast 1232, it's a nutrition podcast titled Start Here, and you can find all of our podcasts on our website, www.brutallenergym.com. But what matters most is calories. That's the most impactful thing. It doesn't even matter what you eat. It's just if you maintain your calories for a day or two, even while you eat a bunch of random food, you're still not going to get far off from your goal. Calories are the most impactful. Then it's protein content within those calories. Do I have enough protein in what I'm eating? And then the distribution kind of meal timing of that. Am I eating, all my food when I'm sitting on my butt doing nothing, or am I spreading it out throughout the day? It's better to spread it out. It's better to eat more when you move more, eat less when you move less. That kind of general theme. And then the fourth most important thing would be specific foods. Whether you're having white bread versus wheat bread, or white rice versus brown rice, or quinoa, or kale, or whatever the hell people say that is a healthy food. You have to look at calories first, protein second, distribution third, and then specific foods. So when it comes to holidays or special events, reduce your focus, relax the parameters. Maybe normally you track calories, protein, distribution, and you do try to have very specific foods. But come the holidays, say, you know what, there's going to be a lot of fun foods available. As long as I track maybe my calories and make sure I get a decent amount of protein in, I'm good. So you just relax the parameters. But then on other days, you adjust your focus and you push a little bit harder. You say, okay, well, this upcoming week, I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is going to be a normal schedule for me. So I'm going to be freaking perfect. I'm going to hit my calories, my protein, my distribution. I'm going to get the specific foods. I'm going to crush it Monday through Thursday. So that way, when I travel or I do a holiday thing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, as long as I maybe get calories in if I can, or get protein in if I can, that'll be good. So you relax around holidays and special events, but you push yourself on the other days, on the quote-unquote normal days. So when it's a normal day or an easy day or a predictable day, you try to get as much right as you can. But if it's a holiday, a special event, or a normal day that goes to crap, you relax your focus and you aim to at least hit your baseline, at least hit your calories. So even if the day completely, goes south, it goes completely different than you expected, as long as you can still hit your calories by the end of the day, you still had a productive day. And if you bomb the day and it's complete trash, nothing is right, recognize that that's still okay, because you don't have to be perfect to make progress. So, when do we relax? Is when things that are outside of our control are getting within what we want to control. So I want to eat perfectly, but I have a special event, I have a holiday, I know I want to be around family, I know I have to change my schedule. My kid has an event this evening, so I'm not going to eat the normal dinner, so I just got to find stuff. Maybe my kid has a whole event all freaking weekend because they play like a traveling sport. Let me just wake up, get some protein in, do a protein shake, eat what I can throughout the day, plug my numbers in before the end of the day, and then eat what I got to before I go to bed to make sure I get my protein in and my calories in. Whether it's Bojangles or actual chicken breast and rice, whatever the hell you end up eating, doesn't matter. You just get your calories in. If you get that, maybe you can manage your protein. If you get that, maybe you can manage spreading that out throughout the day rather than having it all lumped into one meal. But you just say, okay, given my parameters, what matters most, let me control whatever I still can, while understanding that there are going to be things outside of my control that are going to be nothing I can do about. I just got to relax. I have to accept that that's the way today is, and not beat myself up for things that I can't control, and to realize that the things I can control don't have to be as tightly controlled. I don't have to say no to apple pie. I can eat some apple pie. I just maybe kind of put in my food tracking app, say, what is a slice of pie? Maybe it's 300 calories, and you're like, okay, maybe I'll pull back a little bit on something else in the meal that has carbs or fats. So maybe I'll eat a little bit less, potatoes, a little bit less pasta, and that way it gives me a little bit of room more for the apple pie. So you make little trade-offs, and that totally 100% works. Okay, so I hope that over the holidays you don't beat yourself up mentally. You remember what matters most, and that in the grand scheme of things, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be more than you were before. So as long as you're getting meals right and doing well, say 80-ish% of the time, you're doing plenty enough to make progress. If you want to learn more about how to balance healthy eating with special events, check out podcast 1452. It's a nutrition podcast, and it's titled Balancing Healthy with Healthy Eating. Here we go. Balancing Healthy Eating. Oh, there we go. That's okay. I am losing my mind here for a second. Let me gather this. Podcast 1452, if you're still with me, is a nutrition podcast titled Balancing Eating Healthy with Social Events. Golly. So, looks like I need some food or something to get this brain working again. But thank you for listening. I do hope that when we talk about this kind of stuff, that it helps put you in a healthier mindset and you don't beat yourself up. I've been there before, where everything seems like it's the most important thing and you want to be perfect. Otherwise, you're afraid you're going to be, weak-minded and lazy. You're not. It's okay. Just take a day, breathe, get what you can right, but relax on it and just enjoy the holiday. Awesome. Well, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm always here. Our email is brutalirongym@gmail.com. If you like today's podcast or the podcast in general, please share it. The more people we share it with, the more people can help. When you share it, let people know that we answer questions for free, so they're welcome to email us any question they have, and I'll answer it totally for free. Cool. Well, thank you to those who donate to support the podcast. It's well over $1,000 a year for hosting costs. I give an hour to it every day, and we're going to keep it for free. Thank you for the donations that help maintain this and keep it going. You can donate on our website at www.brutalirongym.com. There's options for a one-time donation, monthly donation, yearly donation. Thank you to those who have been donating. I really do appreciate it. It really helps cover some of the costs and the time of it. So thank you very, very much. I do appreciate it. Also, if you like the information we share in our podcast, you can find more from us on our social media channels. I post on Instagram pretty much every day. I'm posting a lot more on YouTube, so check us out there as well. And then if you have any questions, feedback, suggestions, anything you want to know, let us know at our email at brutalirongym@gmail.com. As always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening.